You haven't reached the wrong channel. This is Redline Reviews, and this is the new 2023 Lexus RX. Unfortunately, Sofian was under the weather, but because he's a good friend of mine, I offered to help shoot this video for him out here in Dallas. The RX is one of the most important Lexus models, and it was really important that Lexus make this look new and fresh and exciting in its new 5th generation. You'll notice the big change right up front. The spindle grille is more dramatic, but also more demure at the same time. We still have the spindly shape here. You can see that cut line right there at the top of this grille module, but it's actually white and body colored in the other colored vehicles. And then the actual grille part is down here and it blends seamlessly into the front end, definitely making it look a little bit more demure and a little bit more traditional, I guess you could say. The enormous predator-shaped grille was what some people have called it in the RX, has definitely been controversial. I think this is going to be a lot less controversial. We have full LED headlights over here, headlight washers just as you'd expect, and a surprising long hood profile in this RX. Now, Lexus has said that this model is going to be longer and lower and a little bit wider than the outgoing model, but you can really see that long hood profile. Definitely still a long front overhang as well, because this is still a front-wheel drive based vehicle. The base model is going to be front-wheel drive. Of course, there are going to be all-wheel drive models available as well. The extra length and the lowering of the roofline definitely makes this look like a crossover meets station wagon, I guess you could say. There is definitely a lot of attention to detail in the styling here, and we have the same sort of electronic door handles that we find in the NX, so nothing actually moves on this handle. I've got to say, 235 width tires surprised me. You're going to find those on the base front-wheel drive model and the absolute top-end, brand new RX 500H trim. The RX gains a number of styling cues from the recently redesigned NX. We still have a pretty raked rear window, but it's a little bit less raked than before, helping improve cargo practicality. No big L right here on the back. Instead, we get Lexus spelled out, and then we have this enormous LED strip that spans practically from one wheel all the way across the rear to the other. This is a really long and very distinctive strip, but it no longer has quite the same sort of Nike swoosh going on inside that we saw before. Now, if we go behind this hatch, apparently we're going to find improved cargo capacity in this model. Lexus hasn't released any official specifications for this cargo area, but it does look definitely larger than the outgoing model. And under this load floor, we find a spare tire. It's a temporary, but at least it has one. And this is a hybrid. So if you're looking for a hybrid with a spare tire, definitely put this on your list. The really big deal for the new RX is that we're going to have not one, not two, but 3 different hybrid systems under this hood. And the base engine isn't a V6 anymore. Instead, it's a 2.4-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, basically borrowed out of the Lexus NX and, of course, the Toyota Highlander as well. In this vehicle, it's going to produce about 275 horsepower. It's going to be mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission, and you can expect around 24 miles per gallon, we're told, with either front-wheel drive or with all-wheel drive. If you want a hybrid, there's going to be an RX 350H, but it's not based around a 3.5-liter engine. It uses the same 2.5-liter 4-cylinder hybrid system, basically out of the Highlander. According to Lexus, even though power figures on that engine are just over 240 horsepower, it's actually going to be a little bit faster than the turbo model. It's still going to have an all-wheel drive system, so the axle in the back is powered by a separate electric motor. If you want to plug your RX in, there is going to be an RX 450H Plus. They haven't given us any details about that system other than it's going to be based around a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine. So basically the same plug-in hybrid that we find in the Lexus NX. The most intriguing option is, of course, going to be this new F-Sport Performance model. This new hybrid system is a big departure for Lexus because rather than using the 3-motor setup that they've been using before, that you will find in the RX 350H and 450H Plus, the RX 500H is going to use a 2.4-liter 4-cylinder turbo, a regular 6-speed automatic transmission, but not a mechanical all-wheel drive system. Instead, it's going to have an electric motor in the rear, probably the same electric motor as the plug-in hybrid, and that's going to give you 367 horsepower total. The interior is distinctively Lexus. We have this 2-pane large moonroof right there, but the seats are very familiar if you've seen any of Lexus's latest models. This particular model is the F-Sport, so we have that embossed right there. We have some pretty aggressive bolstering on that front seat back, and a mixture of imitation suede and what looks like leather, but we haven't received any specific details about the F-Sport. This may be a new variant of their new Lux trim. On the doors, we have a mixture of the same materials, a bit of that Alcantara-like fabric there with that Mark Levinson speaker grille, and then this very dramatic ambient light strip that runs right there across the dashboard. We have the same huge LCD infotainment system that we find in other Lexus models, but rather oddly, a 7-inch LCD instrument cluster over here for the driver. You can see the driver monitoring system right there, and the latest Lexus steering wheel behind. The rest of the center console is pretty familiar if you've been in any recent Lexus product. We have the joystick-style shifter right there in this trim, large center console armrest. Jumping back into the rear seats, we have plenty of legroom back here. Very similar components to the rear doors and the rear armrest, things like that. Nice soft padding to the back of those front seats. Down here you can see the controls for the 3-zone automatic climate control, heated and ventilated seats for the rear passengers, 2 USB charge-only ports, padded center armrest right here in the middle with some deployable cup holders. This front seat back is moved a little bit further rearward for me, but I still have several inches of legroom left. Definitely a solid reason to buy the RX over something like an X3 or a Q5 that's probably going to be pretty similarly priced. And in terms of headroom, there's plenty of room back here. I have about an inch of headroom left. There are a lot of details we don't know about the new RX, but the cargo area definitely appears to be larger than the outgoing model. They have said it's going to gain at least a few cubic feet. Let's go under the load floor. You can see we do have a spare tire under there, so spare tire lovers rejoice. And again, this is the RX 500H, so still a spare tire in that model. One interesting twist, no third row anymore in the Lexus RX. It appears that the RXL is dead and is likely going to be replaced by a new dedicated 3-row model. According to Lexus, the RX 500H is going to be the fastest interpretation of the RX. It's going to be able to go to 0 to 60 in 5.9 seconds. Now, I will say that as excited as Lexus seems to be about the 500H, you should know that there are plug-in hybrids in the luxury segment that are certainly going to be faster 0 to 60 than this. Whether we're talking about a plug-in hybrid BMW X5 or a plug-in hybrid Q5, or of course the absolutely insane 455 horsepower plug-in hybrids from Volvo, which are, interestingly enough, very similarly designed to this particular drivetrain. Lexus says that the reason they chose the 6-speed automatic transmission is that it's more engaging than their 3-motor hybrid setup. I have yet to experience this one, but I suspect it's going to feel quite like the Volvo plug-in hybrid systems because basically the design of this system is very similar. At this point, Lexus has not said anything about pricing on the new RX, but you can logically expect pricing to increase a little bit over last year, although probably not too much because the RX is such an important vehicle for Lexus. The hybrid model, that could be a little bit less expensive than before. I would not be surprised if it was actually a little bit less expensive, for instance, to get the RX 350h than the base RX 350, although we don't know any details just yet. Be sure and hit that subscribe button down there at the bottom of your screen if you haven't already done so, because hopefully Sophie will be able to get his hands on this very, very soon. If you want to find me, you can find me over at Alex & Autos or EV Buyer's Guide. And of course, find Sophie on all those various social media channels, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, etc. Everybody will see him a little bit later. Bye.